Welcome back to Consider This. Melisa and Sharaad here with you tonight. We're speaking to Deric Yeo, who is the champion for the Retail and F&B Nexus for the Malaysian Productivity Corporation. Deric, what countries, when you talk about good customer experience, good service, good productivity, what countries should we be benchmarking against when it comes to delivering high service, good quality high service?
Right. Well, I think previously when we talk about good customer service, what comes into our mind probably Japan, Singapore, these kind of very developed countries. But we are to benchmark to the same level kind of country, developing countries like Malaysia. I think Thailand is one of the countries that we are trying to learn, okay, trying to learn from Thailand. So I think probably the cultural background of Thailand is such that they are so courteous, they are so polite. And that actually helps in terms of customer service in the retail and F&B front. All right, so that is something that we should be learning from in Malaysia. But of course, the labor issue in Malaysia forcing us to use a lot of foreign workers, that actually also changes the landscape of Malaysia service. So
right.
But I must say that, look, when you get, foreign workers, wherever they come from, if you have good training, if you know what you want to achieve, it doesn't matter where they come from. Timbuktu, Dhaka, Tasmania, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You have system. The question is, and this is what fascinates me, this is a government kind of, the level at which these initiatives are coming from, right? From on high to what is largely a very fragmented industry, right? Lots of small players. Right. Do they see the problem and do they appreciate the concerns that you have as somebody who's a champion or government has when they have the macro picture of this as a driver for the national economy? Do the small players actually even see that?
Definitely they saw that, and then I think probably the reason we are on this kind of platform to actually explain what is the Productivity Nexus platform is all about is to help this group of people, and we are reaching out to a lot more of these small cafes, small restaurants, small grocery shops that, hey, you can come to us, we can help you. Right. These kind of activities that we have. So because there are just too many out there that we don't even know they exist. So we want to help them because we are talking about big groups like hypermarkets, like we know Giant, things like that, right? But there are so many smaller ones out there. So I believe they are also facing the same issues, but they are using their own level of willingness to work. They are using their family members to run the shop, to run the restaurant, right? But I think when they want to grow, they have to come into this kind of platform. This is why one of the initiatives of Nexus Productivity for F&B is actually to help them to grow the business before even grow international. The fourth level of initiative is to grow the business international overseas.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, next year is going to be a big year for, F&B and retail services. Visit Malaysia 2020. All eyes are going to be on how we provide good customer service, right? The customer experience. And a bad experience can mean no more recurring tourists. What are you doing, especially as champion of this Nexus, to prepare for next year?
You're very right, because when we talk to Tourism Nexus, actually they are trying to bring in tourists into Malaysia for next year or any other years, but then what the tourists do when they come here, they landed in Malaysia.
That's your Nexus, right?
Yeah, they actually shops around, they go and dine into a lot of restaurants, that's actually come into this Nexus. So the big plan next year is actually to look into the service level, customer excellence service level that we want to embark into, and it's an ongoing process that we want to certify, verify, acknowledge good service, retail and F&B, to give them a service excellent mark that they can actually display in the restaurant or the retail front, that to say that this is something that the government has acknowledged, the industry has acknowledged that it can be a trusted brand, trusted restaurant that you can shop in and dine in. It's just like TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor is something that you actually look for before you travel, right? Yes. So it's something that we want to do in-house. Why are we doing? You're just using TripAdvisor.
Do we have anything currently?
No,
like
we are trying to do it now.
Do it now, okay.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you, but so again, we come back to service. We know service is largely about people, right? So how do you incentivize somebody? You can hire people, but if you don't give them the incentive, don't pay them well, we don't have a tipping culture. So what are the incentives to actually be?
Do you want a tipping culture in Malaysia?
Well, I think it might be useful because we do have what they call a service tag.
tax,
We don't even know whether it goes to the workers, and this is a huge problem. If it doesn't go to the workers, again, you're disincentivizing good behavior, you know, that extra that people remember. They remember a good waiter or waitress or the chef that comes out from the kitchen and talks to you. How do we get that going?
Right, you're very right. Because in Malaysia, we don't have the tipping standards. I mean, tipping, that is up to you whether you want to tip the waiter or waitress.
Never happens. Malaysia, where does it happen?
It do happen in some restaurants, but then of course when we have the customer service tax, the customer actually pays a tax for the business, right? And then most of the time, the businesses actually put back the service tax collection into different types of commission, incentive, even the staff dinner to actually incentivize and motivate the staff. So these are different ways of incentivizing the staff to make them motivated. There's even usage of the pool of money to become like a challenge in terms of restaurant challenge. Like if you sell more this, you will get this kind of incentive. This is to make them have fun in the workplace because, like I said, 45% of the workforce moving forward is millennials. They don't want to work like what we worked before, right? Let's go to work and come back. They want to have fun. All right. So
mind you look like a millennial. We'll leave it at that.
All right, well, on that note, gentlemen, we've run out of time for the show. Thank you so much, Deric, for speaking with us tonight. It's been such a pleasure. I'm Melisa Idris, with me, Sharaad Kuttan. We'll join you for another episode of Consider This, same time tomorrow. Signing off for tonight. Thank you for watching.